I used to be like, what do you want from me? Like, screaming, like, because I couldn't get this baby to be quiet. Like, oh, I did not like it. No. And I didn't like it for years. I had my times where I'd be like, my country mom was like, okay, this is what you gotta do. But I could not fight the fact that I was a mom without a mom. I could not get over that.
Welcome to PS Live, where we talk about motherhood, fatherhood, and all that other good shit. I am your host, Jessica Shire, but you can call me Jess. I have my lovely special guest today, Christine Gulley. She is an author, the owner of Donna's Home Kitchen, the CEO of Spirit, Soul, and Body, a wonderful nonprofit that helps women out. She does all the things and still is a dope-ass mom. What's good, girl?
Hey, girl, hey.
And she's also my sister.
I'm about to say, when that part coming in?
Right. So tell us a little about yourself, you know.
I mean, you pretty much just did all that. Right now I'm also doing my podcast from Child to Testimony, where we talk about everything, like everything.
So good. It's so good. If you have not checked it out, you have to check it out, from Child to Testimony. And I'm gonna have links to her YouTube, to the for Trial and Testimony page on Facebook, also the book link, all of that things gonna be in the description. So but yeah, girl, we all here to talk about you and these kids though. How many kids you got?
3. I have a 16-year-old son, a 14-year-old daughter, and a 5-year-old daughter. That's moping right now. Come here.
Just bad. I want you to, can you tell me a little bit about how you found out you were pregnant with the 16-year-old? Let's go all the way back.
Oh Lord. So with him, I had missed my period, but I still didn't think. I told my mom, like, Mom, I missed my period. And she said, girl, you better not have missed no period. And that was the end of that conversation. And then, like, literally, it was the end of that conversation. And then about, I would say, a couple of weeks later, my mom died. And then I still wasn't having no period, but I wasn't thinking about that because my mom was dead. So it wasn't until right after the funeral and I was like, dang, I still haven't had no period. And I wasn't getting no bigger or nothing, but my cousin was like, you need to take a pregnancy test. I took a pregnancy test, honey, and I was pregnant. And actually, I was 3 months pregnant. And I had no idea. Like, it was crazy. So like my mom died, and like a week later, I found out I was 3 months pregnant. Yep. Crazy.
Insane. Yeah.
It was a horrible experience.
And that whole pregnancy was just kind of rough then.
That whole pregnancy was terrible. I bled a lot. I almost lost him a few times. I was stressed out. That was horrible. It was a horrible pregnancy. I didn't want him. I wanted to have an abortion. I was mad at God. Like, how am I pregnant? I was like that. Like, God, you let me get pregnant. That's how I was. Like, you let me get pregnant. How could you let me get pregnant? But he ended up being my miracle baby because I was definitely going to kill myself to show my mom and dad. But I just couldn't do it with no baby in my stomach. So, and I tell him that to this day. Like, he knows. Like, you saved my life. Because I know I wouldn't be here. It was a done deal. Period.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then Christiana, were you trying to the second?
No, I was drunk.
She just popped up in there.
I was drunk. Oh my God. Cause I had literally I've been pregnant 7 times. So I had literally I had a miscarriage right before Christiana. And then I was drunk night and ended up pregnant. I tried to kill her. I was drinking mineral oil, castor oil. Yeah, I was doing it all. I didn't have the money for an abortion.
Wow.
Yeah. And she here, healthy as ever. Yep.
Just like you.
That's crazy, ain't it? Did you know that?
No, I ain't know that. I didn't know you did all of that.
I
Like
did.
she's my older sister. I'm a baby, so like I knew a few things. I ain't know everything.
Yes, Lord. Yes, I did. I tried to kill her.
Right. So then, was the third baby? She was your best pregnancy then?
No, she was the worst.
Was she? You,
What?
you was struggling.
Because yes, 'cause I have fibroids. So I have fibroids. So when I was pregnant with her, that's throughout my marriage, and the fibroid had grew to the size of her. So it was like I was pregnant with twins. It was terrible. What? I was huge. I got up to 222 pounds. I was wearing a size 18 pants. What? That's why I'm thick now. She ruined me. I'm just, oh my God, oh my God. That's the pregnancy I felt the lowest at. I felt like I was ugly. I was overweight. I, I thought I was like, I couldn't sleep. My feet were swollen. All the stuff that every woman was talking about, they go through now. That's what I went through with my last pregnancy. All the other stuff, like with my son and my daughter, I didn't go through all that stuff. I struggled a lot with Christiana because of pork, because I used to want it. I craved pork, but I couldn't stomach it. With Jeremiah, it was just my mom had died, of course, and I did end up having him 7 weeks early because of my stress and stuff. But Asia, swollen feet, throwing up, what? It was the worst. And right after her, that's why I got my tubes tied. And I had her natural. Oh my God. It was terrible. I mean,
Just like this ain't food.
that what when I oh my God,
Oh,
when I had natural, Daddy said it was like looking at an exorcism because he ended up getting stuck in the room. He didn't want to be in there, but he said it looked like I was having an exorcism. Yes, I was what? It was crazy.
that's right. Yeah, you can do it. More power to you. But
She
she
was
came so fast. It was just like you
she
couldn't.
did. I think I was in labor for her for 3.5 hours. She came out. She was ready to come. And thank God. She was doing my birthday, December 20th. But she came. I prayed to say, Lord, please don't let me have her on my 30th birthday. Don't let me be having no baby. She came December 8th.
That's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, can we talk about a little bit about just how was it for you becoming a mom? So with your first child, your mom had just died or whatever, so you were obviously still in a dark place. How did how was that journey for you? You know.
I didn't want to be no mom. I didn't want to be a mom for a long time. I didn't like the fact that I was a mom. I didn't understand why I was a mom, why I didn't have a mom. I didn't want to be nobody's mama. And my son was actually with my aunt and uncle for like 6 months at a time, and I was out partying and stuff. I didn't want to be no. My dad used to have to come get him because I used to be screaming and crying. He'd be crying, I'd be crying with him, screaming and hollering. My dad used to come get him, walk him up and down the hallway. I used to be like, "What do you want from me?" Like screaming, like because I couldn't get this baby to be quiet. Like, oh, I did not like it. No, and I didn't like it for years. I had my times where I'd be like, my come-to mom was like, okay, this is what you gotta do. But I could not fight the fact that I was a mom without a mom. I could not get over that. I just got over that like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Even with Christiana, I didn't want to be a mom. I think that I woke up in 2011. Yeah, I would say 2011 because I got married in 2012. And that's when I slowed myself down for real, and I started really focusing on my children and started getting myself together. That's why my book, chapter 7, is called Motherless Child, because I was not a good mama. I just did not want to be one. I just was mad at God, I was mad at the world. I was like really wanting my mama. I wanted to be mothered. I didn't want to be nobody's mama. It made me angry for them to come say, "I love you, mama," at night. And I want to tell my mama I loved her too. Like, I was almost jealous of it. Is that weird? Like, I was almost jealous of the fact that they had a mama and I didn't have a mama. So I just chose not to be a mama. That's crazy.
That's interesting though. No, because it might be a lot of people who have dealt with that too, though, and that's why I bring it up because it's like what you've
Yeah.
gone through or the things that you experienced or whatever. A lot of people deal with that and they think they're the only one or they feel so alone in that
Mhm.
or whatever. You know what I mean? So, um, and then too, it is domestic violence month, and a lot of your platforms are about the things that you've dealt with in terms of domestic violence and all of these things. Can you speak about a little bit about the things you experienced with Jeremiah and them, Dad, I guess,
Yeah,
and
well, my trauma started long before that because I was molested when I was younger on both sides of my family. And then um, after when, I'm about to say after, when I was pregnant with Jeremiah, my kid's father was beating on me. And then, and that was 7 years of that. Hitting me while I was pregnant, hitting me when I wasn't pregnant, controlling me, not letting me go places, telling me what I can and can't wear, calling me out my name, all that. Then when I chose to leave, this is why they say that, and it's real, the hardest time, the scariest time to get out of it, to in a domestic violence situation is when you leave, because they will kill you or something. When I chose to leave, he held me hostage for 10 hours and raped me three times, penetrated me 4 times because he raped me 3 times, he fingered me once, and then he just kept on beating on me and stuff, like tortured me like for 10 hours straight. So, and that's hard, like having kids and having your own trauma, childhood traumas. Losing a mom is a trauma in itself. Then going through violation in your body and stuff, that's more trauma. So I'm extra protective, like extra extra protective, and to the point where it drives my kids crazy. And I don't care. I don't let them go everywhere. Like I used to when I didn't care, I didn't care. But now that I'm a mom, that I'm a good mom, I don't let them go nowhere. I don't let them go everywhere. They can't spend in at people's houses. Asia literally has not been nowhere but with my siblings and my dad and her grandma. That's it. She don't go nobody else's house. She has not been nowhere. She did not get the same treatment that the other kids had. But she got a mama when I was woke. Thank God for her. But it's hard because every time when my kids ask me, I have to use my discernment. I have to make the mom, the parents after me, and I got to use my discernment. Is this good? Is this not? And when it's not, I tell them, you ain't going. They be mad. I don't care. It's hard. Letting them go outside, worried about them all the time. Because you never think that you're going to go through the traumas that you endure in your life. You never think, I never thought I would lose my mom. Never thought I would be violated. Never thought I'd be raped. Never thought I'd be, what? And then have kids and you gotta protect them from the same thing. That's scary. That's scary. Because the thought of something happening to my kids, like it's happened to me, kills me. Like I couldn't deal with it. It's on my mind every day. It's constant. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, hearing noise, making sure ain't nobody, because I'll go sleep on the couch quick. If I feel like somebody about to come in here, whatever. Because PTSD and the mental illness and stuff that I have, dealing with all the trauma, it's not easy. Having 3 kids, dealing with all it's not an easy road for me. It's just not at all.
and has it gotten a little easier for you, or like what are the steps you've been taking to try to combat that? You think?
I pray a lot, and I've dealt with the PTSD. I have to start with the PTSD first because the PTSD, I don't like to be. I don't like people touching my stuff. I don't like people. I don't like people following me. I don't like people leaning over me, behind me, and stuff. But I got to the point where it was like bad with my children because like Jeremiah, he's my only boy, so like he liked to wrestle and play around and stuff. And he used to wrestle with me in such a way. I would get real serious. It's like, I'm not playing. You know, kids, he just playing. And I had to really like pray about that. Like, I've been going to counseling and stuff, and I'm over that now. I had to start. It started in my household first. I still got my ways now with other people. I'm not as lenient, but with my kids is where I want to start first. And you know, I want to start get over that first. So I'm over that. So now we can play around. They can joke around with me. Even though they know I don't like being jumped out at like that. Boo, do it to me though. But they do it to me. And I want to kill them. But it's not as bad because before I used to be mad. Now you know, like I used to get real mad, go off on them, and then come in my room and cry when they used to do that to me because that's how triggered I was. But now it just be like, don't do that no more. But that's with them. That's with them. Can't nobody else do that to me. So it's a process. Now the strictness, like Jeremiah, I do let him do a lot. I do let him like he go like right now he playing basketball, whatever. Christiana, and even Jeremiah, you can't go certain places. When he at the park up the street, I get in my car. If he gone 30 minutes, I'll drive around, make sure he okay. But that's something I feel like we should be doing as parents anyway. There's too much stuff going on in these streets. But me, I'm just extra. I'll do my rounds like I'm security. Yeah. Yeah, I'm security. I call when you not ain't nothing worse when your kid, any parent could say that. When your kids go, you gonna know. When I call that phone and you don't answer it, that is the worst thing you could do to that is the worst thing. That's the worst feeling in the world. It's the worst. I will get in my car and drive everywhere. I don't care. The mall. Dropping them at the mall was a doozy. Christiana still can't get dropped off at the mall. Unless my son is with her and he know you better not leave her.
Yeah.
Can't walk to the store without her brother. None of that. I don't. Some things have just never changed. I think some stuff is just common sense anyway.
Yeah.
So, but it's getting better.
That's good. That's good. Tell me a little bit about From Trial to Testimony. You wrote the book, and then now you have the podcast. How's that all going, and what inspired it? You know.
Okay, so From Trial to Testimony, the book. I wrote the book because I felt like I needed a voice, and I felt like I never had one. Like growing up, I'm sure there's things I could have told my dad, but because I was such a mama's girl, my mama told me not to say nothing, so I did not. So I kind of feel like that took away my voice. Because even rest in peace, mom. But that wasn't right to tell me not to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? I should have been able to speak up. So I feel like that took away my voice. So growing up, I was like always angry. I was always searching for something. It was like a silent cry out for help. Like, hello, pick me. Like, what about me? Always. I always felt like that. Sometimes it's still a little girl crying on the inside of me. Like, what about me? So honestly, I was like, when I wrote that book, I put it all out there. Like, this is what I went through. This is what I've done. Whatever, with no shame, unapologetically, whatever. I got attacked for it, whatever, and that shut me up again. It did. It shut me up again.
Right.
And I stopped promoting my book.
Originally put it up.
Yeah. And it shut me up again.
Like, when did you originally put it out? Like, how many years ago?
2015.
Right.
2015. Yeah. Yeah, 2015. And it probably was out. It wasn't even 6 months. It was probably like a month and a half before I got attacked for the stuff I put in there. And then that kind of silenced me again. And then when I also overcame, I'm like, you know what? Then I took counseling. I've been in counseling since 2011. I'm still in counseling, and I'm not leaving counseling no time soon because it has helped me tremendously. And I had to realize, like, dude, just because when people do you wrong, they don't have a right to tell you what you can and cannot say about what they've done to you. You don't have that right. You don't have that right. And that goes for us too. If I've wronged you in any way, said or did something, and you write a book or you want to tell a story and I did it, I did it. That just means that we need to be accountable for our actions. period. And when you realize that you do people wrong, you need to be a woman or man enough, and you need to apologize for what you have done, because then maybe the attack won't feel so strong on you because you've already accepted accountability for your actions, period. So I had to realize that I'm already wounded, so now I'm taking your responsibility on myself too. That's not fair. I shouldn't have to carry the weight. I should not have to do it. I already carried the weight. Now I know. So you won't feel guilty or you won't feel shame. No. So I said, forget that. I'm about to open back up. So from Child of Testimony podcast, and it was in me. Like God wouldn't let me let it go, literally. He would not let me let it go. He would not let me be quiet. Like every time I went out to church, every time, and I was like visiting churches, like these past few months, last 3 months and stuff. And it was like, God said, you got a voice. Use your voice. You've been silent too long. You've been silent. And I'm like, I talk a lot. He like, but you're not saying the right things. You're not saying what I want you to say. You talk a lot, yeah, but you're saying some bullcrap. You need to be saying what I want you to say. And what I gave you was a testimony, and I gave you a story. And you're going to teach people how to open up their mouth, because I taught you. Quit letting people silence you. I said, okay, God, what you want me to do? So it was 3 o'clock in the morning. It just makes me excited because God is good. So 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm laying in my bed, and God said, do the podcast. I said, okay, because mind you, I have a couple of friends and my older sister, everybody was telling me, you should do a podcast. I think you even might have told me before. And I'm like,
Yeah.
doing that. And then God said, do the podcast. And I started it like the next week. Like, do it. And it's crazy. And it's pretty much the same thing. It's not only it's therapeutic for me, but it's to give other people that were like me, that felt like they didn't have a voice. And to also show people that I don't have to agree with everything you do, but I can still receive you and accept you and still love you. Everything. A lot of people be on my podcast and I don't agree with what they be saying, and they know it. I don't agree with that, but other people do. And maybe in due time, maybe you are right, and I will learn from it, or vice versa. It's just to give people a voice. It's not for us to be arguing back and forth. Say what you want to say, and I'll tell people. People preacher's kid, okay, whatever. But can I cuss? I'm nervous. Can I smoke? Can I drink? Do it. If that's what makes you feel comfortable, do it. As long as that voice comes up, because I guarantee you, each and every time somebody has been on that podcast, I get inboxes, I get text messages, everything on how relieved they feel just by just being able to just get it out. People they wait for years.
Yeah.
And it can be detrimental to your life. Walking around in silence all the time. Let it out in a safe, unjudgmental atmosphere. We kicking it like homegirls and homeboys. Just like how I'm talking now is how I'll be on my podcast. Hey girl, hey. Chilling. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nah, I love it. Like I said, if y'all ain't check that out, you have to, because it's the rawest podcast, the realest podcast. You're going to be laughing, you might cry, you might be triggered, everything, but you're going to leave feeling good, period.
Because we definitely be crying.
Right. Because you talk about some real shit. Like, I mean, people deal with trauma in so many ways all the time. And it's like, it's insane how much people really go through. And like you said, how much people are just carrying every day that you don't even realize. Like behind that smile, you don't know what's going on with that person,